And we're going to be in the 22nd chapter of Genesis and the 17th verse. Genesis 22:17. Shouldn't take you too long, it's right at the beginning. Genesis, the Word. I will surely bless you and make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky and as the sands on the seashore. Your descendants will take possession of the cities of their enemies. So this is Abram, that is being spoken to by God, and he's being commended by God for his obedience. If we remember, Abraham took his son Isaac to be sacrificed out of obedience to what God had asked him to do, and then God provided a ram for the sacrifice instead. But because of his obedience, God gave him this blessing that his descendants would take possession of the lands of their enemies. And so we live in that blessing that he made, because the gifts of God are irrevocable. That blessing still holds for us today, that we can possess the lands or the habitations, the properties, the things of the enemy, because they don't belong to the enemy anyway. He was a thief. If we look at Matthew 16:18 through 19, then we go to the Brit Hadashah, the New Testament. We're going to be 16:18 through 19 in Matthew. And I tell you that you are Peter, which means rock, and on this rock, which is Yeshua is the rock, I will build my church, and the gates of Hades, which is the unknown realm of the dead, will not overcome it. He goes on to say, I will give you the keys of the kingdom. Because remember, Christ holds the keys of the kingdom, but he's given it to his followers, for those people that believe in him, that trust in him. He's given that charge to them as he left the earth. This is the charge he gave them. He gave them the keys to the kingdom. So I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. And whatever you loose on earth will be loosed. Wherever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven. And whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. And so, with the keys of the kingdom, we have everything that he's got, that he has for us. Every good thing. Now, if we get into looking at that, the gates of Hades. Actually, he and his disciples were passing an area in the mountains of, at the foot of Mount Hermon, and that area was called Caesarea Philippi, and it was a place of pagan worship. The Greeks had set up an altar there in front of a cave, and there was a river running through it, and they believed fertility came through that river, and that spirits would come in and out on that river. It was a place where they worshipped a god called Pan, and they called it Panis. And Pan was half goat and half human. And it's where we get the word panic from Pan. And it means chaos. They worshiped the god of chaos there. And it was where the gates of Hades were. It's where the demons would have control over death there. It was a place of death. And there were statues all on that altar in front of that cave, or on the side of the cave, I should say, that they would pray to these other gods and goddesses, but it was all evil. They'd even have a celebration once a year where they would have immoral acts with goats to celebrate Pan. It was a very evil place. Jews would avoid that place for the most part, but Yeshua was passing by the area, and this is where he makes that statement. And in making the statement, he is saying that he's conquered the final obstacle, the final holdout that the devil had on us, and that was the holdout of death. And by his death, he conquered death. And it was a final obstacle for us. So this promise that goes way back to Genesis, that goes to all of the descendants of Abraham, and we've got that, that blessing from that. And then he does the very last step, which is even conquering death. So we need to remember who we are in him, and we need to remember that we need to possess our territories. That when the devil throws something at us, we don't need to just accept it. We don't need to say, well, okay, well, it is as it is. No, we need to know who we are, know that it is our inheritance in God. And even the final, which is the conquering of death itself, that our lives will be eternal in him. We don't even need to fear death anymore. So everything is laid out for us. But we have to possess it. Okay, we can't give in to the devil. It's just all about stealing and robbing us and killing us and giving us sickness, giving us all these things that are not of God. So we need to stand up for who we are. We need to possess our inheritance that has been provided for us. So today we're going to possess the inheritance of healing by the stripes of Jesus Christ, and by his blood we ask for his covering, that we can be whole and we can be healed in him. So if you need healing, come on up and we're going to anoint you and pray for you.